Hi, and thank you for listening to Dream 10X Radio, where we interview people attempting to live extraordinary lives. Our twofold purpose is to both direct and inspire people bold enough to do the same. Dream 10X. Face your fears and make your life count. Hey guys, welcome to episode 37 of the Dream 10X podcast. It's your boy JC, and I just finished 5K erg on my Concept 2 ergometer, and it was slow, but got my blood going, got a little bit of a stink going on, and I just like sitting on this seat because you can just like go back and forth all day and just think about nothing. And actually when I'm erging, I do just pretty much think about nothing. I don't like any music or anything like that. I just get in the zone and just relax and meditate, and that's one of the reasons I love rowing so much. But I wanted to wax a little philosophical right now about the importance of dreaming big, and I just wanted to share with you a period that I went through in my life in 2011. I was going through a divorce, and I felt like an utter failure as a husband and a complete failure as a dad. And I contemplated suicide. I was really at the lowest point in my life. I lost all my money, and I lost my family, and I lost everything. And I thought I was done. I thought I was over. And one of the ways and my parents were very concerned with me, and they were very loving and supportive at that time. And so that really helped me get through a big part of that problem period that I went through, But another thing that really helped me was to set my sights on a big, scary objective that I never really thought I could accomplish. And that was just completing an Ironman. And I'd done some Olympic triathlons in the past, but nothing serious, and never thought in a million years that I could go out and swim 2 miles and then run a marathon, or swim 2 miles and then ride a bike for 112 miles and then run a marathon. I never thought that was something that I could physically do, especially within the allotted time period. You know, maybe I could do it in a week, but you only have like 16 hours to finish it. So I never thought that would be something that was possible for me. And one of the people that really inspired me during that period was a woman that I used to row with, Olin Huxley. She probably doesn't know this, but she was running Ironmans all the time at the time. She lived in Hawaii, from what I could tell on Facebook, and actually did the Kona Championships a few times. And that was just really inspiring to me, that somebody I used to row with could do something so amazing in a completely different sport. So I thought, well, why not me? Why not try that? So I started taking the first steps towards completing an Ironman, and I finished it and got the shirt to prove it. Ironman Louisville 2012. And so the difference a year makes. So 2011, I was seriously contemplating suicide for a brief period of time. And in 2012, I finished an Ironman just because I set my sights on this huge goal and started chipping away at the little small steps that I needed to get there. And that was a life-changing experience for me. And I just wanted to share that. The beauty of giving yourself the freedom to think about a huge objective and to shoot for it can really change your life for the better. Logically, it could change your life for the worse too. But it could change your life for the better. And something like that, a story like that, I think really helps exemplify the importance of shooting for big goals in your life. You can end up a better person in shooting for it. I tried to join the Olympic sculling team at one point. I failed in doing that, but I became a better person in that journey. And I made a ton of friends along the way, lifelong friends. I love the people that I row with and have rowed with in the past, and my rowing friends and community have been tremendous for me. And rowing is a big part of my life, even though I'm not getting on the water right now because I'm spending a lot of time doing other things. But I do still sit on this Concept 2 erg every now and then, and it helps clear my brain, and it helps keep my heart healthy. And it's just been a great thing to meld into my lifestyle. Another thing that really improved my life was in 2009. I set out to solo row from Reedville, Virginia to Tangier Island in the middle of Chesapeake Bay. I thought it would be fun to do that. It's about a 28-mile trip, round trip, if you do it all in one day. And so I set out as a solo rower to do this, and realized, I got out to the Smith Point Lighthouse and realized, man, this is a lot harder than I thought. And I'm really stupid in a lot of ways, but really stupid to come out here by myself. So I regrouped, came back, still had my sights on accomplishing this goal or dream. And I recruited a friend of mine, Mike Alteris, and he was nice enough to accompany me the next year on attempting this same journey. And he got up with me at 4:30 in the morning, and we set out in the pitch dark morning and went out past Smith Point Lighthouse, out to the middle of Chesapeake Bay, and made it to Tangier Island. He didn't row a lot, but he was with me, and he was with me the whole way. He was my friend. He was encouraging. He took a lot of video and pictures and stuff. And the two of us got through that journey together, and it was an amazing experience. It was a life-changing experience for me. Even though it was a 28-mile row, it was accomplishment of a big goal. And before I set out there, I took a lot of class in piloting and charting and seamanship and safety at sea, and I really took this thing seriously. And we finally accomplished it together, and it was an amazing experience, and I have such fond memories. It changed my life. And even to this day, every time I row, I love thinking back to that period when we were out in the Chesapeake Bay, getting it done, finishing this big, huge objective. So the power of dreams is wonderful, and I encourage you all to let yourself dream. Be ridiculous. Let yourself be ridiculous and conjure up these ideas, these objectives for your life, and go for them. You never know what's going to happen, and it could change your life for the better. So that's what Dream 10X is all about. Also sitting on this erg and going back and forth is a lot of fun. So get a Concept 2 ergometer and get out there and put some meters in, clear your head. It's good. But anyway, I just wanted to share this quick little video to introduce the other video snippet that this is going to be part of, this episode 37, where I was in Orlando last week and attending a mastermind with Brandon T. Adams and Jeff Hoffman. And Brandon was very busy the whole time. We were doing he was setting up his film, he was working with his film crew to do some video filming, some interviews with Jeff Hoffman and some other video segments with his film crew there with Sean Vela and guys, company. And I was able to grab him just for a brief moment and pulled him out of the house and to talk about his book, The Road to Success, which I just recently read. He co-authored it with his wife, Samantha, and it's a story about how they left their hometown in Iowa to head out on this dream that they had, to accomplish this dream of going through various American cities and interviewing people who have been, have achieved some level of success in their life, to find out what it is that people are defining, how people are defining success, and how are they achieving success in various parts of America. And so he set out, basically sold everything they had. They weren't married at the time, he and Samantha, and set out on what turned out to be a very difficult journey. They almost filed for bankruptcy along the way. They ended up getting married along the way, and ended up at the end of the day with an Emmy Award-winning documentary. And so I had an opportunity to talk to Brandon just briefly outside. It's not a well-shot video. I did it on my iPad. One of the cameramen I grabbed the cameraman too and said, hey, would you mind just filming a quick interview? And so it's not very professional. There's a lot of wind noise. So I apologize for that, but hopefully the content is very beneficial for you. It's about entrepreneurship and setting out on a scary journey to achieve a big dream that you have. And so I hope you enjoy this video with this interview with Brandon T. Adams. Hi, I'm James Capel, and I'm here with my mentor, Brandon T. Adams, here in Orlando, Florida. And Brandon is the author of a book called The Road to Success, where he chronicles his first, foray into entrepreneurship as you left your house in Iowa.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to hear a little bit about your journey and what you talk about here with your wife.
Yeah, so the book, The Road to Success, is basically showing the journey of creating the TV show Success in Your City. And so my wife and I had this kind of moment, like, what is success? I had some business success, what is called success, I guess, and made some money, and thought, there's got to be more in life. And so we dedicated literally traveling the country for a year to figure out what success meant from other people. And so we lived in different cities. We got to meet new people, learn from athletes to musicians to entrepreneurs to all kinds of people that just living on the streets, and really learned the core theme around what success meant, and it really changed how we looked at life. And it was an endeavor that we went all in. I mean, to read the book, we sold our house, we sold almost all our things, I sold a business, went all in on this concept of this show, and it became more than just a show. It became a movement around success. Everybody finding their own version of success, whatever that may be for them. It's different for everybody, and achieving that. And so it was quite a journey to, it's like you have this idea, you execute, and it becomes reality. I mean, the show went on to win some Emmy Awards, did a book about it, and now it's become education and everything else. It's pretty cool to see. It was 3 years ago when we came up with the idea on a beach in Puerto Rico, and then now it's become a thing, a
reality.
Thing. Yeah.
So were you successful in your own mind before you set out on this journey?
So I achieved, I guess, somewhat business accolades, but I had this experience of life where I always like achieve something and then go for what's next, and it was a bad habit of mine. And I felt like I achieved stuff, but I was still feel like I was unfulfilled in what I was doing. And that was actually a problem of mine, you know? And I think after learning from all these different people, like one of the people we learned from, David France, the guy was homeless at one time, living on the streets, but he created this orchestra out of nothing, supporting kids. And he was so happy. And it made me realize you don't need a lot of things. And that's right after the episode, we sold everything. We don't need material things to be happy. We just do what we love. And so to answer your question, long story short, you know, I don't think I really saw myself as successful. I had achieved things, but I was very unsatisfied with where I was at.
You mentioned in the book how you needed fulfillment from you needed acceptance from others.
Yeah.
In order to feel fulfilled yourself. How did that change in you at the end of your journey there?
You know, and I was always trying to prove something to everybody. And then finally I realized, like, hey, I didn't need to prove shit to anyone. I did it, you know? I achieved my own thing. And I think the big lesson is, like, being happy with you and not caring so much what other people think. Because I think the problem with this, people, they care so much about what others think. Their approval from them and justification, like why you should do something. And for me, I realized, like, you just do you. Just do what you want to do. Who cares what other people? You don't need to prove shit to anybody, as long as you're happy with you. And so that was kind of the changing point of me, is being happy with who I am and realizing that success to me was just my own version. I didn't have to be like everybody else, because so many people compare themselves to others, and then what do? They're like, oh, I'm not as far as I should be, or whatever. We all have our own version of success, as long as we're being the best us, instead of comparing ourselves to the world. And so that changed for me, and I realized that, hey, accepting myself for who I am.
Yeah. Would you say that defining your own personal version or your own personal definition of success is a major first step that all entrepreneurs should take first before they set out to do something?
I think the first thing people should do is ask themselves, what does success mean to them?
Yeah.
And they may not know it right away. You try different things, but write down, like, what makes you happy? What fulfills you? What is success in your personal life, your relationships, your everyday activities, hobbies, your business? And figuring out what that is, because you can't achieve something if you don't actually know what it is.
Right.
And then once you figure out what that is, that your own version of success, then you can achieve that. Instead of thinking like, hey, I see on social media, I have to be wealthy, or I have to go make X amount of dollars, or I have to get this car. Society thinks that's success. I mean, if that's what you want,
right.
Most people, they think they want certain things, but really they just want,
what other people are doing.
They want acceptance, they want love, they want being around right people, they want to do things they enjoy. And so really having that, the first step is figuring out what does success mean to you and what do you really want, and then actually pursuing that.
So back to that first step, we had an interesting conversation last night about how difficult it is to take that first step to start achieving your objectives, or what your definition of success is. Why is that so difficult for people?
People fear what they don't know.
Yeah.
So we like security, we know we're comfortable. We fear when we don't know what's going to happen next. But what I've found is, when you do something uncomfortable, out of your comfort zone, that's when you grow. And that's the only way to get real growth and real, like, big things that happen in your life. So what happens is people, they don't do anything. They sit in the sidelines, but they also fear what other people think of them. They fear what their mom and dad are going to think, sometimes their significant other, society. I say, fuck that. Are they going to be the ones, if you're on your deathbed and you worry like they're the ones that made me like live a life of regret?
Yeah.
Who cares? At the end of the day, it matters what you want. It's your life. It's not theirs. You got to live the life that you want. And so I've learned to go out of my comfort zone, not care what people think, even though sometimes it was embarrassing doing some things I did as I was learning, and just always doing things that made me feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Doing things that scared me. Because when I did that, I grew, and I grew myself to other levels, stretched to bigger opportunities, versus being comfortable with the current fulfillment. Like you could go do a TV show and say you win an Emmy or whatever, and like, oh, okay, that's it. And you do nothing else with your life. That is very depressing. I want to always grow personally and be the best version of myself. And that is fulfillment.
Yeah. I think it's a valuable exercise to think about being on your deathbed and how you're going to look back at your life.
It really is.
What do you want to achieve? One of my mentors who's an ocean rower, her name is Ross Savage, and she talks about how she set about her objective of rowing across several oceans, all the world's oceans almost, by writing her own epitaph. Is that what you call it when you die? Yeah.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how we call it.
Yeah, obituary or whatever.
Yeah.
How do I want people to look back on my life or recommend?
It's a good exercise.
Talk about me after I'm dead. Yeah.
It's a good exercise, but it's also like, where do you want to be? Some people, and I have this too, where it's like you're doing all these things, you're on this path of trying to achieve all these things, and you realize like, do I even want this?
Yeah.
And you wake up and it's like, why am I even doing this? You got to have a bigger why of why you're doing something. If you don't have the bigger why, then you're on this hamster wheel. Whether you're an entrepreneur or you're in 9 to 5, you're in a hamster wheel doing something to realize maybe that you don't even care once you get to the end. And the problem is most people, they're always striving for that achievement, that award. Well, if they don't enjoy the journey, because the award is only like, what, 3% of the entire thing, 2% of your life. You need to enjoy the process and the journey, otherwise you're going to be a miserable fucking person.
I love that.
Because you're going to get to that, it's like a race. Like when you're practicing for that marathon, you got to enjoy all the times you're going to get up, and it's going to be that more glorious when you cross the finish line. What happens if all you're thinking about is going across the finish line, and that's all you're thinking about, and you don't enjoy the journey? You get across the finish line, and then it's like, that's it? Now what?
Yeah, I love that. The journey's the thing.
The journey is. You got to enjoy the journey.
The thing.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I was just thinking about that today. So.
Yeah.
Well, awesome. I am curious about your wife and how you guys.
You'll meet her.
Are you still together after this whole journey? And did it improve your relationship or hurt it?
Oh, completely save us. I mean, before, think of this, the year we're getting married, we film a TV show that we're funding, we sell our house, we sell everything, we almost filed bankruptcy, we're traveling the country, we're in a hotel together at one point for 130 days straight. That's ultimate test before you get married.
Yeah.
And then you plan an expensive wedding, you know what I mean? So it's like all these things. There was multiple times where we called the wedding off, all these things, but I'll tell you, that made us stronger, like those moments. And now, even 3 years later, it's really developed us as humans in a relationship together and understanding our values, each person individually, as what success means to her and me. I mean, it's definitely, I don't know, she's my rock and everything. And she's the person that's really kind of held me together along the way, whether she knew or not.
Yeah, that's awesome that you also got to kind of test the relationship before you had actually signed the contract, you know?
And we definitely tested it.
Better than after. So
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
awesome. Well, thanks a lot for your time.
Yeah,
I really
thank
appreciate
you.
it.
This
has been
is
awesome.
great, man. I love it.